Ada, darling, would you mind passing me one of these menus? Spry young thing like you. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to Mirador, a television station where you can guarantee a cock-up or two, or even 3 or 4, within the first 5 minutes. We can't help it. It's inevitable. But yesterday was the king of them all. I just got totally lost in the technology because the routine was unfamiliar to me. And only because I was having some medical treatment. Did I actually not come in to the Black Horse? Very unusual. Won't happen again, I don't think. Anyway, my apologies for leading you on a fool's errand yesterday. Not a good thing to do. Now, there's Ada.
Morning.
In the background, and she brought Cody with her this morning. Lovely young man. Is he on half term?
Well, no, it was half term on Friday because he's broken his hands, his fingers. We kept him off.
Oh, he's a basketball hero. Yeah. He broke his fingers playing basketball. Yeah. Wow. Wish I could do something daring like that. When are you leaving us, Ada?
Next Friday. A week tomorrow.
Oh, we've got another week.
Yeah.
That's good. I don't like people leaving us.
No, I don't like having to leave either, but needs must and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Got to put your health first, I suppose.
You have indeed.
I should still come in and see you, okay?
Oh, good.
She'll come in and have lunch and things.
Oh, excellent.
I'm not going and disappearing.
Lost, not forgotten.
Yeah.
That's great. We have a tremendous team here at the Black Horse, both on television and the support staff. When you've got a good thing going, I hate to see it broken up. But there we are. These things have to happen eventually. Time is inexorable. The weather. Never mind the weather. Let's worry about the weather. 17 degrees today, some sunshine, and a gentle breeze. How are we on rain? Not a dicky bird. Oh, hang on. At noon, we've got a 3% chance of rain. Pretty slight. Other than that, it's going to be a dry day. And tomorrow is going to be sunny all day. And Saturday is going to be sunny all day. Sunday is going to rain. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, that's the weather forecast. Not a bad one. Not a bad one at all. Here we are, back in the Black Horse, and ready for another day, fraught with danger, fraught with the opportunity to make mistakes, cock-ups. And the master of all cock-ups, John Henty, will be along at 10 o'clock. And we can have some fun and games after all the somberness of the news in the meantime. Ho, ho, ho. Let's take a look at the headlines, because today the big news is, of course, Sunak has called an election. And the broad headline is the Prime Minister's big gamble, and things can only get wetter. Oh, after I've just said it's going to rather nice day. The Metro. As the post office chief weeps at inquiry. So sorry, Paula. Nation's sympathy is in the post, says the paper. And Rishi finally sets the date for a poll. Election July the 4th. Independence Day in the United States. Wow. I wonder if that's significant. Rishi finally sets a date for a poll, says the Metro, as it covers Rishi Sunak announcing a general election for 4th of July. The Metro describes it as a bombshell after a day of denials. Elsewhere, ex-post office boss Paula Vanells wiped away tears as she gave her long-awaited evidence to the inquiry investigating the scandal. The scandal that saw sub-postmasters wrongly prosecuted for fraud. But the paper says the nation's sympathy is in the post. The FT, the Financial Times. The Prime Minister triggers a vote after abandoning hope for better economic news before the autumn. Opinion polls suggest the ruling Conservatives heading for heavy defeat to Starmer's Labour. The Prime Minister announcing the election in the pouring rain outside number 10 is the main picture on the Financial Times. The broadsheet says Mr. Sunak has taken a big gamble by announcing an election while the party trails Labour by more than 20 points in opinion polls. Bonkers, a former Tory minister is quoted as saying. Not a single colleague is saying they're pumped up as they are ready. Not a single one. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Do you know, it's crazy things like this that sometimes win the day. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not politically good. Da 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 da. You've done it. Ooh, it worked. Politics. A very strange animal, to say the least. The Daily Mail. Now is the moment for Britain to choose its future. Now is the moment for Britain to choose its future, headlines the Daily Mail, quoting Mr. Sunak's speech. The paper says the Prime Minister seized the initiative amid Tory jitters. It quotes Michael Gove telling Mr. Sunak at an emergency cabinet meeting, "Who dares wins. You dared and you will win." Well, there's some truth in that as well. Oops. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. The Mirror. Drown and out. Rain-soaked Sunak sets the general election date. Drown and out, headlines the Daily Mirror, as it pictures Mr. Sunak walking back into number 10 with water dripping off his back. I've got a pink on this screen and I have no idea how. The Guardian. Sunak's big gamble. Sunak's big gamble headlines The Guardian. It writes that Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer is widely expected to become the next Prime Minister after transforming Labour since its loss at the last general election under Jeremy Corbyn. It quotes Sir Keir saying, "Together we can stop the chaos." Yeah, sure. Heard all that before. The Daily Telegraph. Sunak gambles on a snap poll. Things can only get wetter, declares the Daily Telegraph. A play on Labour anthem, "Things Can Only Get Better," which could be heard being played out by a protester on a loudspeaker as Mr. Sunak gave his speech. But in an analysis piece on its front page, Associate Editor Gordon Rayner says the Prime Minister's message came across loud and clear, that things have indeed got better under his leadership. And if Sir Keir Starmer becomes Prime Minister, things can only get worse. The Times. Sunak bets the House. Like the other papers, an image of Mr. Sunak soaked delivering his speech feature, and that features on the front of the Times. At a rally on Wednesday night, the paper says the Prime Minister tried to position himself as the underdog. Sir Keir, it says, asked the public to allow Labour to return Britain to the service of working people. Yeah. Oh dear. We have got ourselves into a muck. Never mind. The Eye. Oh, God bless you. Thank you, darling. The Eye. Judgment Day, 4th of July, and I reiterate that's Independence Day in the United States. 4th of July, a snap election for the UK. Judgment Day, says the Eye of the general election. The paper says a snap election is an catch Labour off guard, explaining the lack of readiness. It says parties do not have many enough candidates to fill seats. Mr. Sunak's decision was influenced by.
Why don't you pause that while you're doing it?
Let's see.
Watch your finger. Carefully, don't carry too many.
Yeah. What is the Eye saying? Explaining the lack of readiness, it says parties do not have manifestos or enough candidates to fill seats. Mr. Sunak's decision, it writes, was influenced by falling inflation, but it also feared setbacks on tax cuts and interest rates if the election was delayed further. Tory rule will end, or Labour will suffer one of the biggest shocks in UK political history, is how the Eye sums up the election. The Daily Express. Prime Minister, I am fighting for our nation's future. The Daily Express focuses on a message from the Prime Minister to his readers, setting out his case for a Conservative win. Mr. Sunak said Sakir was a soft touch on immigration and the EU. Everything that has been hard won is at risk, said the Prime Minister. And the Star. We always get a big kick out of the Star. Former post office boss is accused of talking a load of old cobblers at Horizon scandal inquiry. Little Miss Twaddle, it says. Oh ho. The Daily Star mocks up a post box into a Mr. Men character with Mrs. Venables' face superimposed on it. Little Miss Twaddle, the headline says. The tabloid writes, the ex-post office chief has been accused of talking absolute tosh at the inquiry into the Horizon scandal. Wow. Well, some news again today. Oh, it's only 8:17. Not we haven't been going very long at all. I must say I was a bit taken aback that Sunak had called an election. The ruins are not good for the Conservatives. Would they have improved? Perhaps he knows something that we don't. Is that if he had been delayed, he would have backed himself into a corner where, in fact, things would have got worse than they are right now. But it's all a question of confidence. The Conservatives have been far too wishy-washy to inspire a feeling that things will get done according to their promises. We know the Labour won't fulfill their promises. They never do. And that's just a track record. Doesn't mean to say they'll necessarily be a bad government. But we're in for an interesting time, to say the least. An interesting time. I think we've got two candidates already declared here, haven't we? James McCleary for the Lib Dems and Maria Caulfield for the Conservatives. I don't think that there is realistically anybody else with a good chance of taking this seat. It has always bounced backwards and forwards between the Conservatives and Lib Dems. And that's the way I think probably it's going to stay, at least for the foreseeable future. Perhaps when we know where the Reform Party stands, we could see more candidates. We may well have Screaming Lord Such type candidate. But generally speaking, I think the battle is going to be between Conservatives and the Lib Dems. And it will be very interesting, to say the least. Very interesting, to say the least. It's a long time since we've had a good election. The last one was the one that Boris carried out. Since then, there's been so much infighting. They're all over the place. Wow. It is going to be interesting times, to say the least. To say the least. Where do we stand? Where do we stand? Our friend Harry Atherton from Normandy would say a curse on all their houses, so there's nothing really left of conservatism in the Conservative Party. Are we going to see a sea change? Will the Tories be wiped out? Well, it's a possibility. Is it possible that Keir Starmer, after all this careful husbandry, of appearing to be sane and sensible, going to put his foot in it at the last minute? That is a possibility. It doesn't take much to put a foot wrong. Thank you, darling. A lot of speculation. Of course, what we must do now, we must attempt to get the candidates on. And I think that Stuart Dolby will be in charge of that. The election times are heady times. Heady times. Well, what else is happening? It's easy to get carried away and forget about anything else when you've got big news. Matthew Parris says he surely can't believe Tories will win the election. Message of a brighter future was drowned out. Starmer promises politics with a light tread to stop the chaos. Yes. You may mean that, Keir, but your people won't. Socialists can't help but tamper. They can't help but tamper. It's the palace postpones engagements to avoid distractions. Now, the coming weeks will look even more sparse as the country gears up for a general election, it says, and it's talking about the King's public appearances. Haha. One in three police forces ignore calls to cut arrests. More than a third of police forces are defying advice to make fewer arrests in a row over contingency measures to ease prison overcrowding. Well, thank goodness for that. Oh, the boss of the post office is pointing the finger at all her colleagues. It's all their fault, Gov. Oh, yes. Aha. Alderney was not a mini Auschwitz. I don't know what that's about. Jet plunged Britons in intensive care. That's the jet that hit turbulence over Myanmar. The Grenfell victims may have to wait 10 years for justice, the Met admits. 10 years. Are you off?
Yeah, just go to the toilet first.
Oh. 10 years may pass before those responsible for the Grenfell Tower fire face court. Police investigating the case were admitted. Oh, why?
Right, we'll see you tomorrow, Ted.
Okay. Yeah. Take care.
And you, see you tomorrow.
Bye, Cody. Ada has left the building. Fruit and veg prescriptions work wonders for patients. A brain risk from ultra-processed diet. Sunak stayed dry in the deluge. Pirate King's lost letter solves his 300-year mystery. Henry Avery's writing has now been decoded. He sees Mughal coins. Now, that's quite interesting. Henry Avery was from a little village nearby to here. I can't remember exactly where, but he went off to sea and became a pirate. Yeah. Ooh, apparently the pirate was a spy. Oh, how interesting! Yes, that's something that you should take a look at. A man named Avery, the Pirate King, the strange adventure of Henry Avery, and the birth of the golden age of piracy. Oh, good stuff. Woo. Hang on, brighter days are ahead. Oh, it's a cartoon with the axe hovering over Sunak's head. the axe being printed with electorate, and Sunak saying, "Hang on, brighter days are ahead." Ooh. Dear, dear, dear. Dear, dear, dear. Well, now, let us see. We'll send an invitation. We will. Who knows who's lurking out there? You never do know. Now, we also send one to Mark. Now, Mark it comes on tomorrow with Melissa, but we don't have any. We don't have any fixed schedule here. We have little highlights, but we don't have any fixed schedule. So everybody is welcome to come on any given day whenever they feel like it. So let's send an invitation. We've got nothing to lose. Nothing to lose at all. It's 8:33, by the way, and it's beginning to look half decent out there. It's not going to bake you, but nonetheless, it's not cold either. Toodly toodly toodles. Right ho. Yes, well, while we're waiting for people to react, what we could do is we could see if we've got a nice little program to play. Not immediately, I don't think. Not immediately. But nonetheless, we will send invitations flying around the country, flying around the world, for that matter. We have been working very hard in the background so that we can get a little bit more shape now to Mirador. After all, we've been going from pillar to post for quite some time. Declan Rowe, the boss of the White Hart, not the White Hart, the Black Horse, has made sure that we've enjoyed a period of stability, and indeed it has shown. We now are able to identify that probably the one thing that is missing in makeup is a little bit more technical know-how. The software that we've got is marvelous. It replicates a television studio just on a small computer, and it's perfectly adequate. The big problem is that it is very much a hands-on, and you have to be on your game to make sure that you go from one position to another seamlessly. And that's the one thing that we haven't been able to do so far. But we are attracting enough people now so that we've got a few experts in the computing side of things. And we should be able to put together a nice, what shall we say? Yeah, smooth flowing set of programs. Of course, that is only as good as the people that are operating it. And I must confess is that I am getting a little old now. I'm getting a little infirm. And as a consequence, occasionally I cock things up. Ah, dear. And then don't we all? We all make mistakes. Some make more mistakes than others. That I will have to admit to. But generally speaking, we're not badly off. We identify things that go wrong and try to put them right or make sure that they don't go wrong again. And so it is Thursday. While we're waiting to see who might come up, shall we? Right. Now, I think that, yes, the bloody past of a tiny town is we're going to start to recycle it again. And of course, I've got absolutely everything except episode 2. And got episode 3, episode 4, episode 5, episode 6, episode 7. But have we got episode 3? No, we have not. And as a consequence, it is not fair to play things out of sequence. Let's see. I'm just going to play the Ghost Train because it's short and sharp and it's sort of fun.
Many people find commuting by train tiresome. But one of the pleasures of taking a train to London is that it passes through some of the most beautiful countryside in the UK. None more so than the view of the countryside as the line approaches Clayton Tunnel, just north of Brighton. The tunnel is the longest on the line, at 1.25 miles, running under the South Downs. It's unusual because the entrance is not the usual railway brick. It is instead designed to look like the gateway to a castle. On top is a cottage built for the railway's lightkeeper in 1849. The tunnel itself was opened in 1841 and the cottage added later. Idyllic. But after 1861 it became a nightmare, or at least for those who believe in ghostly goings-on. In August of that year, a night train left Brighton, travelling north to London. Partway through the tunnel, it stopped at what it thought was a danger signal from the lightman. The engine driver was correct. The railway official had indeed given a danger signal, but the train had rushed past him before pulling up. Thinking the train had cleared the tunnel, the unfortunate lightman gave the all clear to a following train. And it slammed into the back of the first train in the dark, killing 23 and injuring 176 more. It was the worst ever accident on the line. And people walking on the downs over the underground passage have reported hearing the screams of the passengers as the trains pile into each other. The line is now also a direct line from Lewes. I've travelled through that tunnel 1,000 times. I've never heard a scream other than the screech of the wheels and brakes. But I've never walked over the downs at that point either. And I turned down an invitation to stay in the cottage overnight. In fact, I get tense each time I go into the tunnel, knowing what had happened more than 165 years ago. But my fellow passengers carry on reading their newspapers, obviously oblivious to both the tragedy and the ghosts. I could sometimes scream at them. The ghosts of Clayton Tunnel. Eerie. Bloody eerie.
Ha 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 ha!